What would your life look like if success was measured by endurance and not the win? How would your confidence shift if you started to see the hard knocks not as a sign of a knockout, but as proof that you were in the fight? The world makes it seem like winning is everything. Trophies, milestones, achievements. What if success comes from simply refusing to quit? Refusing to quit doesn't have anything to do with talent, luck, or even skill. It's about endurance, because staying in the fight means that you always have a chance to rise. The only way to lose is to tap out. If you're anything like me and you're interested in leaning in to the bullheaded stubbornness keeps you locked in for the long haul, then by the end of this chat, we'll both walk away with a framework for progress that prioritizes grit, resilience, and long-term staying power over short-term victories. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua, and I'm working my way towards writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty. This is my artist channel, which I use to promote those songs. In my free time, I like to have these discussions about ways that we can equip ourselves for our efforts toward our pursuits. Success isn't a knockout punch. It's about staying on your feet. No matter how many hits you take, sometimes it's hard to see it that way. Society has an obsession with instant success, the sensationalism of grandiose people doing grandiose things, and our way of propping those people up in some way to acknowledge them and what they've done as something of an anomaly. It's almost as if this idolization serves as a way for us to leave ourselves off the hook in terms of any expectation for our own capacity, any kind of similar success. By holding those people up so high, we all collectively agree to the status quo that we would rather wallow in than really efforting the fortitude it takes behind the scene of an instant success to manufacture one. Because the most successful people, they aren't the ones who never fail. They are the ones that refuse to quit. So forget the participation trophies. It's time to dig in for the fight. And you need to check yourself now. It will be long and hard fought. I suppose that a good metaphor for this would be the marathon runner. For the most of us, we'll probably never commit to such an undertaking. So I don't intend to speak to it like I've had the experience. But as best I can guess, I can't imagine that the majority of people who run a marathon are sprinting the whole time. But rather, they pace themselves knowing that the goal is just to finish. So how much progress could you make for yourself in a constructive way if you just committed to setting a pace for yourself? And rather than self-determining your ability to win or lose in advance of attempt, give yourself permission to settle into that pace. Leave yourself free to see what becomes of it. People are so locked into thinking inside of boxes, myself included. With my pursuit towards making music, I've gone through stages of my life where I was completely consumed with things in terms of ridiculous and monumental external validations needed in order to validate my success. And I spent so many years just entirely hung up about this, wasting good times on bad habits. And had I had any foresight to have anticipated how off track that all would have taken me, I would have certainly been a lot further ahead than where I am now. That said, I'm forced to ask myself the question, how important is this to me? Why is it important to me? What is it that I'm trying to do? And how exactly could I best go about that in order to satisfy all of those previous questions? Because whenever you rely on putting everything into a box and you have a mountain of a challenge in front of you that's perceivably insurmountable, and you measure it as a pass-fail option before you even set foot walking up that mountain, odds are you will have made agreements with limiting beliefs that won't just keep you from starting, but will keep you from moving towards your goal in a wholehearted way. And as it relates to me with my music, even now, daily, I struggle with this, with the idea of actually building an audience for my music, because I certainly can make music, and to me that isn't the challenge. It's a matter of making music and having the will and the fortitude to be able to wake up every day and go towards that. I have all kinds of things that make me want to slow down, make me want to try just a little bit less hard, effort myself just less than enough, because this reason and that reason. As I mentioned, a lot of the songs that I'm writing about this fight against this global tyranny that's creeping up all around us, and social credit scores and 15-minute cities. Isn't that I think I'm important, or that I particularly want to be, but I am writing music about that, and I do want to contribute. Then I get into this mental game where I say, well, look at all of the gatekeepers here, and look at this person, and they're able to slide right in, their songs being talked about and discussed, and I'm DMing people and trying to connect, and you know how that goes. Heard it said that nobody knows you until everybody knows you, and that may be true, but I don't know if I have what it takes to stay in it like that. So I wake up every day and I have these talks. I say what I'm doing. I say this is my artist channel. I say these are my songs if you haven't had a chance to hear them. Or I walk past the mirror and I see that old man face staring back at me, and I can't find where I'm at there. I say to myself, what are you doing embarrassing yourself? You don't even need to be doing this. Why do you care about this? And these are just some examples that I go through regularly, and there's a pile more where I'm constantly trying to shake off these kind of thought demons. And the trouble with all of that is even when you're shaking them off, it always just seems that you wake up the next day or the day after that, and they're waiting here to greet you. And that's how I mean to say when I mentioned earlier that it seems like I probably have sabotaged my entire life in this way. So you can be certain that I'm not having some sort of a midlife crisis. I'm having an all-life crisis that I'm trying to get over and hurdle. Not only am I doing my best to stay in the fight, I'm doing my best to do a better job of being in the fight so that way I can own it, not just be going through the motions, putting on a show to pretend to myself that I'm doing something. And none of any of that has anything to do with my ability or my capacity for making and creating music. It all has to do with the head game of staying in the fight and the nature you go about staying in it. And that goes for me, and that goes for you too. None of your natural ability means anything if you quit. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that the people who do make it are not necessarily the most talented, but it's very likely they're the most consistent. They say that dripping water hollows the stone, and that isn't by brute force. It's by brute persistence. So how about it? What's something that you almost quit, but pushed through? And how did that change your mindset? And how would your confidence shift? If you stopped treating setbacks as failures, started to see them as proof that you're in the fight. I've said it before. Falling down, it isn't failure. Staying down is. Mental toughness is a muscle. It needs training. You need to make a practice of it. At the center is conditioning yourself to expect obstacles so that you're not caught off guard and you're prepared to push through them. Do your best to work to making a habit of it, because if you don't rise to the occasion, it is probably you failed to the level of your preparation. You don't need to be the best, because endurance outlasts talent. So whatever it is that you're working towards, don't stop. Don't tap out. Who cares? Lean in. We're all dying out anyway. It's not about avoiding the punches. It's about learning how to take them. So keep at it. Keep in it. Keep your head up. I'm going to keep mine up. If you haven't had a chance to listen to my new song, you can hear it there. And we'll talk again soon.